Welcome back for lesson 3. In this lesson, you will produce one short AI-assisted output, such as an email, paragraph, a slide bullet, or a brief summary, and you will run a simple optional common sense check before you send it. By the end, you will be able to spot likely hallucinations quickly, confirm key details with an authoritative source in under a minute, and decide when to stop fixing the model and move on. Sometimes an AI tool states something incorrectly with confidence. This behavior is called a hallucination. It's not your fault, and it's not malicious. The system is predicting likely text and can overconfidently guess. A useful analogy is to think of AI as a fast intern who occasionally fills gaps. The output can be helpful, but it benefits from a quick spot check before you sign your name to it. Here are 3 familiar examples you may recognize in everyday work. A timeline uses the wrong date, such as reporting Q3 when finance moved the milestone to Q4. A link that looks valid but is actually broken or points to the wrong source. Or a statistic that appears precise, for example, 70% of our customers, but no source exists in any deck or system. Hallucinations occur for 3 common reasons. First, the system predicts patterns, and patterns can look like facts. Second, the prompt may be too broad or may lack a source to anchor the output. Third, the model can merge 2 real items into one incorrect claim. We can broadly characterize hallucinations into 3 different types: factual errors, fabricated content, or nonsensical outputs. Factual errors occur when an AI model outputs incorrect information, such as historical inaccuracies or scientific falsehoods. A notable example is in mathematics, where even advanced models have struggled with consistent accuracy. Here's an example asking if 3821 is a prime number. And first it says it's not a prime number, and then when pressed, it says, actually, it is a prime number. A well-known hallucination is asking the AI how many R's are in the word strawberry. Gemini says 2, while Copilot and ChatGPT have the correct answer of 3. Now we get to fabricated content. When an AI model cannot answer correctly, it sometimes fabricates an entirely fictional story to support its incorrect response. The more obscure or less familiar the topic, the higher the likelihood of the model fabricating content. Another challenge arises when combining 2 facts, even if the model knows both, as demonstrated in this next example. If we ask whether there has ever been a U.S. Senator who served the state of Minnesota and whose alma mater was Princeton University, the correct answer is no. But since ChatGPT seemingly lacks sufficient information to answer the full question, its output included an answer to part of it, identifying Walter F. Mondale as a senator who represented Minnesota, and incorrectly assumed this was also valid for the other part. However, the model recognized its mistake when asked whether Walter F. Mondale attended Princeton. Here's another example of fabricated content. I called out the AI for making up statistics, and it responded very helpfully, "Yes, I made those statistics up. Thanks very much." Now we move on to nonsensical output. AI-generated output can sometimes appear polished and grammatically flawless while lacking true meaning or coherence, particularly when the user's prompts contain contradictory information. This happens because language models are designed to predict and arrange words based on patterns in their training data rather than genuinely understanding the content they produce. As a result, the output may read smoothly and sound convincing, but fail to convey logical or meaningful ideas, ultimately making little sense. As you can see from the example, that's a bunch of word salad on the screen. In my case, I'm building an app. for people who need reading glasses to see their phones without them. That's right, no more reading glasses to see your phone. It's still in the development stage and it's called MaxView. Now, building an app is a lot more complicated than most everyday corporate tasks, but the hallucinations are the same. In this example, the AI made it a math error. When I called it out on it and all the other mistakes it had been making, it kindly listed those mistakes lest I forget them. You also need to always double check the documents that the AI prepares for you. I can't tell you the number of times it has told me that the document is complete when it's not. In this example, it says it's complete and there's only 2.5 pages. One time it gave me only 7 pages of a 30-page document, insisting that it was all 30 pages. When I let it know of the error, it tried again and gave me a new document that was only 14 pages. When you're doing research or investigation, be wary of the AI sending you down the wrong path. It will be so convincing that you are following the best path. It's only after you've wasted hours, if not days, that you realize it was wrong all along and you have to start all over again. Another thing it does, and I've experienced it many, many times, is the AI stating something is complete or declaring victory with lots of emojis and all caps, only to discover it's not complete or it's still broken. The AI is very contrite, but you've wasted a lot of time to get there. Watch out for these quick tells that a detail may be wrong and needs a check. You have made up or unsourced statistics. There are citations that do not resolve to a real source. There's impossible or contradictory dates and timelines. There's internal inconsistencies within the same answer. Or there's suspiciously specific numbers without a citation. So here's a 60-second mini drill when the detail would be embarrassing to get wrong. First, review the AI output. Identify the riskiest item, a number that could cause a problem if incorrect. Start again. Run this mini drill when the detail would be embarrassing to get wrong. Ask the AI, after you've reviewed the output, identify the riskiest item, a number, date, name, or a link that could cause a problem if incorrect. You can also ask it to open one authoritative source, such as a policy page, a finance sheet, a vendor portal. Start again. Run this mini drill when the detail would be embarrassing to get wrong. Review the AI output, then put into the AI the following prompt. Identify the riskiest item, a number, date, name, or link that could cause a problem if incorrect. Start again. Run this mini drill when the detail would be embarrassing to get wrong. Review the AI output, then identify the riskiest item, a number, date, name, or link that could cause a problem if incorrect. Open one authoritative source, such as a policy page, a finance sheet, a vendor portal, or an official website, and confirm the item. If it's still unclear, ask the model to provide the exact source or quotation. If it cannot, rewrite the line more generally or remove it. Sometimes two tools will provide different answers, and then you can ask a third model. Ultimately, you can then resolve the disagreement with a single primary source. Use this only when the fact truly matters, like a deadline or a published number. Here we see the strawberry, the how many R's in strawberry example from earlier. Gemini said there were 2. ChatGPT and Copilot said there were 3. And then, I know this is a simple example. You all know how to spell strawberry, but you could go to dictionary.com and get the authoritative source on what the provable fact is. Use this three-step recovery when a line looks suspicious. First, don't panic. Isolate the suspect fact. Second, correct the line using the actual source or direct wording. Third, re-ask the model with the source attached to verify the fix. If the model is wrong 3 times in a row on the same fact, or you're spending longer fixing the output than writing it yourself, stop and finish that line manually. You should also treat tests differently based on risk. For green items such as personal notes or brainstorming, you can skip the check. For yellow items such as team email or an internal deck, run the 60-second check on 1 or 2 risky lines. For red items such as external materials, legal, finance, or policy content, use only primary sources and avoid model-derived facts. So how can we prevent hallucinations? Well, we could set guardrails in our tool. What we can do is place these guardrails in your AI tool's customization settings. These instructions make safe drafting the default and turn guesses into clearly labeled assumptions. Some of the instructions that you can copy and paste include: do not make up facts, quotes, sources, or URLs. If a detail is missing, ask me 2 clarifying questions rather than guessing. All numbers, dates, names, claims must include a source I can check. If you cannot provide a source, label the line as assumption or rewrite it generically. You get the point. You can pause this video and copy and paste these guardrails. Here's an example of abbreviated guardrails that you can also copy and paste, and this works if there are character limits for the instructions box like there is in ChatGPT. Here you would say, never present generated content as fact without verification. Flag anything unverified with either inference or unverified. State limitations explicitly. I don't have access to X. Prefer primary sources. Provide citation when stakes are high. Avoid absolute claims without a source. So where do you enter these guardrails? Well, in Copilot, you click on the profile icon in the top right corner, click Settings, click Copilot, click Custom Instructions, paste the guardrails into the box, and then press Save to apply your customization. In Gemini, click on the Settings wheel in the bottom left. Click on the instructions for Gemini, click Add, paste the guardrails, click Submit. In ChatGPT, you click on your icon in the lower left, then click Personalization, then paste the guardrails into the custom instruction box and click Save. Another way to decrease the chance of hallucinations is with better prompts. We can use some prompts that encourage accuracy. For example, ask me 2 clarifying questions first, then draft in 120 words. Any numbers or dates must include a source, otherwise keep them generic. You can also say, summarize this email thread into 5 bullets with owners and due dates. Label any assumptions as assumption and list what needs confirmation. A third example, turn the Slack thread into 4 action items. If you infer an owner or date, mark it inference and state why. And there's a few others. You can pause this video to copy and paste. Before you send any AI-assisted work when the stakes are high, use this brief gate to ensure accuracy with no contradictions. Confirm numbers, dates, and names, and then align with company policy. Do it again. Before you send any AI-assisted work when the stakes are high, use this brief gate. First, ensure accuracy with no contradictions. Second, confirm numbers, dates, and names. And third, make sure it's aligned with company policy. All right, now we're going to put everything we've learned into action, and it's your turn. We're going to ship one small thing. Choose one of these small tasks. Write 3 bullets that summarize a long email thread for your manager. Draft 1 slide that explains a week over week metric change. Or convert a Slack thread into 4 action items with owners and dates. What you want to do here is paste the raw text or describe the situation in plain English. Use the starter prompt that requests 2 clarifying questions in a concise draft. If a line includes a number, date, name, or link, run the 60-second check, then ship. How'd you do? Here's a worksheet you can take a screenshot of and use going forward that'll help you on new projects where you need AI assistance. Here's an accuracy checklist that you can also screenshot for future work. So here's what you've learned. You can spot and reduce hallucinations. You can label confidently and cite sources. You know the 60-second verification check, and you have a pre-published accuracy checklist. What's next? In Lesson 4, it's the 5-minute myth. In Lesson 4, you'll learn how to set realistic expectations so that you can move faster without chasing perfection. You'll see how to turn a 5-minute tip into a practical 30-minute workflow that actually ships results at work. You'll learn why most 5-minute hacks fail in real jobs. Don't listen to every TikTok or YouTube that claims results in 5 minutes. Here's what you do instead. You'll learn how to convert a small task into a repeatable 30-minute workflow with checkpoints, how to assemble a reusable prompt plus source template that reduces rework, how to time box saved drafts and track minutes saved so your progress is visible, and how to pick the next 2 wins that compound this week's learnings. Don't forget, join the free school community to keep learning with peers who are shipping their first AI wins. Visit thisisflowai.com and follow us on LinkedIn for more practical lessons. See you in Lesson 4.